Welcome. So I want to talk to you today about what are some of the obstacles that stop you from getting out in the great outdoors. Because once you identify the obstacles, what's stopping you, you can do something about it and get out and do some new things in the new year. The North Downs Way is one of the first trails that I attempted almost 3 years ago now, believe it or not, when I first started to get outside more regularly, and I had to overcome a number of obstacles. It's looking very bleak now, looking like we're going to get some rain. Into the woods, come on. Should we have a little rest then here? So what are some of the obstacles we all face in going out on outdoor adventures, camping, walking, hiking, that sort of thing? Well, I've basically come up with I think 5 or 6 which I think are the biggest ones, because Day Tripper is really about not just watching somebody else's adventure but encouraging each of us to perhaps do something new, get outdoors. Might be camping, might be hiking, but just doing something new. These are the 5 things I thought of. The biggest obstacle is the front door. So number 1, getting beyond the front door. That's a big one, isn't it? I mean, it's just trying to get to that place where you've got your bag packed, you've thought of what you need to take, you're prepared, you've got your food planned, you've got everything planned out, but the final one is just getting out the front door. Once you get to the front door, once there's no turning back, once you get out of the front door, you will feel so free at that point that you've actually set off. And the hardest point is setting off. The front door is the biggest obstacle, but it's the bits behind that that stop you getting to the front door. Number 2 is motivation. So motivation, you need to get motivated so that you can get beyond the front door. So you need motivation, strong motivation that you want to get outdoors. So for this, I would suggest, I think YouTube is great for this, and that's why I do this as well. But watch other YouTubers, can learn a lot from other great channels. If it's about camping, then Paul Messner's really good, isn't he, to teach some basics on camping. I like Bushman and Blue as well. Like watching his videos and learned a lot from him. Just watching some inspirational videos and people who love obviously going outdoors. Hopefully this inspires you too, Day Tripper. And then you sort of catch the enthusiasm of the person who's enjoying going outdoors, and it sort of opens your mind, gives you some ideas of what you might be able to do. So I'd suggest getting some motivation. And also it could be things like you want to get fitter this year, you want to get healthier, you want to, maybe people think about fitness and health and diet and exercise. Well, this is a great time to plan, isn't it, to plan some outdoor adventures. So you get the motivation, and you almost have to visualize yourself on those adventures. Sort of like last year when I did the coast to coast, there's a lot of planning, but I almost had to visualize myself, I'm going on the coast to coast, and I had to plan, book the dates, and just make sure I was committed to going so that I would actually go last year, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. So motivation, and I got that from watching other people, quite honestly, and also from experiencing things, maybe smaller types of adventures, maybe going for smaller walks, short walks, getting in the outdoors, where you begin to appreciate just what all the outdoors has to offer, and maybe not taking it too far, making it too risky to begin with, so you don't get put off. So motivation is absolutely critical. Number 3 is preparation. You need to get prepared, decide what you want to do. Maybe start small, like I said, go on a walk, go on a day hike, do something maybe with other people. Maybe try, if you want to go camping, try your first camp in your garden, or maybe if you haven't got a garden, go to a campsite, get some kit. Don't spend a fortune to begin with to find out what you like, and then prepare what you need, and then plan a date to go on your first adventure. You have to sort of start to plan, start to buy things if you need to. You can find things on eBay, you can get cheaper stuff, things like that. You can look out for bargains, you can watch lots of videos and find out what's the best gear to get for your budget. But as long as you're motivated, you'll do the preparation. So if you're motivated for something, you'll prepare for it and you'll enjoy it. And like when it comes down to packing your bag and planning what you're going to take, that's all part of the experience, all part of the adventure. So then you enjoy the whole process because you know you've got a plan, you've got a vision to get outdoors and to go out at a certain time. If you're planning to go on your first wild camp, like a lot of people are, your first stealth camp, try somewhere that's easy, that's not that risky, and also try and go in good weather as well. Try and go at a time when, you know, it's not bad weather, you know, to the best. Try and plan things so that it's not so cold, maybe in the warmer months, so you don't need such expensive equipment. Try it when it's not so, there's not so many variables that can go wrong. Don't go on your first one in the mountains, a bit like I did last year in the Lake District, too early in the season when it's in a storm and things like that. Avoid that sort of thing. Go in the good weather, just plan something for the good weather, and then you know, try and do things that are easy so it builds up your confidence. If it's camping in a woodland, go for walks at night in the woodland. Maybe get used to the sounds of the woodland and just being comfortable sitting in the woodland before you decide to camp in one. Otherwise, if you just go to camp in one, you're not used to the animal noises and the wildlife, you probably get freaked out, and you don't want to put yourself off too early. It's been a process for me. I've had to get used to it. I did throw myself in the deep end a little bit, but I sort of thought, well, I wanted to sort of test myself a little bit as well, whether I could actually camp in a woodland by myself. But you don't have to be, we're not all the same. You don't have to do that. You could go with somebody else. You could camp in, like I say, a normal campsite, whatever you want to do, but at least make a plan to get outdoors. But do plan for the worst just in case. Whatever your adventure is, whatever you're going to do, make sure you've got the map. Make sure you can read a compass, or if you've got some form of GPS. Even if you haven't got a phone signal, you could find your way back if you do go up to a mountain, which I don't suggest you do to begin with. And make sure you've got some wet weather gear, some warm clothing, some dry clothing, a change of clothing, and even an emergency blanket if necessary. So make sure you are prepared before you go on these adventures, because we don't want to, so many people go unprepared and then can get into trouble. And let's be honest, it is dangerous in the great outdoors. You know, on the top of a mountain when the fog comes in and it suddenly becomes freezing cold and wet, it's not a funny place to be. So it's not a fun place to be. So make sure if you do go on something like that, you do get the right advice and take the right gear with you. The fear of the unknown. That's one of the biggest obstacles, the fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen. Well, you can actually deal with that fear by finding out as much as you can about what the adventure you're going to go on. And then you can break down, you know, once you learn the animal noises, for example, they're not unknown anymore. It's not frightening in the woodland. If you know it's a wild deer, then you haven't got to worry, have you? We don't have any lions or bears in England. We don't have to worry about that too much. But the fear of the unknown is sort of that you don't know what the weather's going to be. You don't really know. Sometimes you don't know where you're going to camp. Well, you can actually reduce the unknowns of each of your adventure by doing more research. You can plan it in great detail. Some people like to know everything about it, how long it's going to take, where they're going to be there. That's fine. If you're like that, then plan it meticulously and make sure you're not worried about things. For me, I prefer a little bit of the unknown. Personally, it just adds to the adventure, but everybody's different, and everybody's at a different level of experience too. So, but fear of the unknown puts a lot of people off. So again, that goes to preparation, where you can prepare and know a lot more about where you're going and what the risks are, and you have a plan in place so that you don't have to worry about those things. The fear of failure, the fear that it might not go as planned, the fear that you might not be able to complete the walk or complete the hike or whatever. Really, it doesn't really matter, because as far as I'm concerned, we learn when we fail. We learn by our mistakes. In life, we learn by our mistakes. So the same in going outdoors, we learn by our mistakes. So we don't sort of go around trying to make mistakes, but you learn more by your own experience than you do just by reading a book. You learn a lot more by actually having experienced that for yourself, and then you can be stronger for the next time. So fear of failure doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people say about you, does it? As I've got older, I care less about what people say about me. But I understand there's peer pressure and all that sort of stuff. But really, you've got to live your own life and do what you want to do, and not worry about everybody else. You think, you wonder about what people are thinking about you. To be honest, they're probably not thinking too much. Everyone's busy with their own lives. That's the truth. So that's not really anything really to worry about. And the final one is finding the time and being allowed that time to go on your adventure, depending on your family circumstances. This is a big obstacle, time, finding the time to go on an adventure. So you have to make time in your schedule. It could just be for a walk for a couple of hours at the weekend, or on a weeknight in the summer. You've got longer evenings, you've got much more hours of daylight in the summer. It doesn't get dark till 10 o'clock, it gets light in the morning at 4 a.m. It's a big difference in the UK, isn't there? Like 6 hours of darkness in the summer compared to how many hours in the winter? Like 16 hours of darkness in the winter. So the summer is much better, where you can find more time to go on adventures. It's easier to get out. You can get out after work and do things. So the winter is less so. So that's more of a challenge in the UK, for example. But finding the time, just try and find a regular time when you can perhaps make some time for yourself, and then try and stick to that. And hopefully your family will allow you that time, or hopefully your family can come as well. If not, I do a lot of solo things. Sometimes it's easier if your family is not into the outdoors as much. So you just agree when's a good time to go. That doesn't mean you're taking up all your family time, but you sort of come to an agreement with your family so they support what you're doing and they appreciate the benefits it gives you. Maybe it's once a month, people let your other half lets you go out. I don't know, I don't want to get too involved in that. Or maybe it's every 2 weeks, or whatever it is. But you don't want to sacrifice your family time. It's a balanced life, isn't it? So your family is so important, but you need to find some time within that to be able to go on your adventures. Anyway, there's probably so much I could share, and I hope you can share your comments too, your feedback as to what helped you get outdoors. For me, it was a process which really I filmed all on YouTube, so you can see I knew very little when I started. I'm not saying I know that much now, but I'm much more confident now, and I feel more experienced because of all these adventures I've been able to go on and share. But a lot of it was down to, I had to just basically say, I've got to get beyond the front door. I'm going to go on Friday night or Saturday night. I made a plan during the week, and then it was just getting ready for what I needed, preparing what I needed, and then just opening the door and going through it. And it's been a great experience, a great adventure. It's made my life so much more interesting. I feel much more confident, and sharing it on YouTube has been a great joy as well, and you coming along on these adventures. So there's going to be lots more this year. Please share your plans as well. Where are you planning to go this year? What are you planning to do that's new? And hopefully we can encourage one another, and we can all have a lot of adventures, more adventures in 2023, and just become a lot wiser and healthier and happier, and have better mental health and so many benefits. So anyway, I'll leave it there for now, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye for now. Oh my goodness. She wants. What a mess. Look at the state of you. So this is why you have to always be prepared. Look at me now, absolutely soaked, but because I've got this jacket, as I prepared, we're okay. And Shiwang too is okay, even though he's totally muddy. He has his jacket on. So we overcame the obstacle. Back to the car. What do you think, Shiwang? Huh? I think you want to get back to the car, don't you? Come on then. Come in here, shall we? Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh, you're filthy.